us today on Toyota Sports Talk. One of my favorite guys to sit down, talk some Commanders football with, Lake Lewis Jr., our Commanders, our NFL insider, all of the above. Lake, how are you? How was the weekend?
I'm good. And how about yourself, Natalie?
Doing very well, but yes, we're going to start there. You and I back in action again. I feel like it's been a few weeks. I don't know if I'm mistaken, but our Commanders back in action again this week. OTAs officially in the books, but this week, veteran mandatory mini camp. But let's just start there. We've seen 4 weeks of our Commanders in action at OTAs, essentially just glorified walkthroughs. But, this week, it sounds like they are ramping up just a little bit.
Yeah, you're going to see a little bit more physical, play. Obviously, the NFL have a rule that you can't overdo it, not until training camp. So you might see some shells maybe one of those days, which is, not the full gear. We can say, Natalie, from both of us being out there for OTAs, they've actually been getting after it. I know we do call them glorified walkthroughs, but they've been practicing hard. And I think that it's going to be exciting to see what they can do.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to start there, because you've seen many OTAs with your days, and you've even told me when we were out there in Ashburn, this looks a little different. Is that the major takeaway, or kind of what do you think when you compare previous years to this year?
It's something that I've never seen as far as, I don't want to use the word physicality because it could get people in trouble, but at the end of the day, they're practicing hard and they have a plan in place, and they're not practicing for 2 hours. They're getting, what they need to get in and getting things accomplished. And the other thing that's different, Natalie, is that they've had 100% participation. I mean, there's no side stories of a guy not there. He didn't show up. In years past, I've seen guys come in and they still weren't participating. They were off to the side of the field. So now it's just a different setup. And I think that that's a good sign for a team that's trying to, navigate forward.
From coaches before practice, players after practice, is just the direction the team is heading in and how everyone is just truly backed behind the vision that Dan Quinn has presented to the team, But how do we gauge that success for him right now? Is it just based on what we're hearing from his players, or is it something we can see on the field? How would you kind of go about that?
It's a little different. For me, I go by what I'm told by friends who are actually coaches. I have a couple friends, good friends that are coaches, assistant coaches on this team. And I mean, they've just nothing but positives about Dan Quinn as far as the type of man that he is, the type of leader. And they were like, they had opportunities to go to other teams and they chose to, go to Washington or stay in Washington because of the things that they believed that he was saying and what he wanted to accomplish. There's a lot of energy. They get everyone together before the practice starts and the coaches are hyping them up. So it's just a different look. I think there's a good sign to think that this team is definitely much better than that 4-win disaster we saw last year.
It's a good way to put it, a 4-win disaster. But, everyone, again, will be keeping their eyes on Jayden Daniels this week. And you say things are going to ramp up just a little bit in the case of, them wearing the shells, all that good stuff. So is there something specifically you'll be keeping your eyes on when it comes to Daniels this week in Ashburn?
He's looked really sharp. I mean, you don't see too many balls hitting the ground when he's out there. Obviously, he's been getting most of his reps with the number 2s. And I know that they don't like using numbers like that. We were reminded last week with Coach Joel Witt, we don't have 11 starters. They have a bunch of guys, but we do see that Marcus Mariota's going out there with the number 1s. But when Jayden Daniels gets out there, it seems like it's a little bit more of a pep in the step. The balls are a lot more zip on them. We're going to start seeing a slow transition so that when training camp gets here, you're going to see him a lot with the 1s because he's going to be the opening day starter. I'm already saying that.
Okay, that's where I really wanted to take this conversation next is, that sitting versus starting. I don't want to say the city will be up in arms if they see our QB1 on the sideline for that first game. But, how realistic is it? Is that a possibility? Could we be seeing a Marcus Mariota starting in that week 1 game?
No. And Natalie, you called it. They would be up in arms. No. Jayden Daniels was selected to be the face of the franchise, to be the opening day starter. And, we said this, when you and I were in Detroit for the draft, we said it. He's going to be the starter, and he hasn't done anything to make us think anything. He actually, to me, looks like the best quarterback on the field right now. I mean, this isn't RG3. This isn't Kirk Cousins. This is a combination of everyone together. And the thing that really jumps off the charts about the kid is he's a good kid. and the veterans have already rallied around him. They love what they're seeing. He's the first guy in the building, the last guy to lead.
Let's stick with Daniels for one more second, because, you know, I always say that handling adversity, it's not going to be an if it happens, it'll be a when it happens, and how he's able to respond to that. Is Daniels in a position to step up to the challenge and be able to face that adversity given the pieces that are around him?
Absolutely. And Natalie, honestly, I think John Allen and Terry McLaurin are in the same position as Jayden Daniels, because they haven't had any leaders around them to help their careers. And they've had to become, unfortunately, the faces and leaders of the Commanders. You have Bobby Wagner on the other side, first ballot Hall of Famer when he hangs it up. I think, 9 first team All Pros at linebacker. So you have a coach that took a team to a Super Bowl, in Dan Quinn, and a GM that knows what he's doing too.
100%. Okay, before I let you go, I got to put you on the spot because NBA Finals, they are on our air on ABC. Boston has a 2-game lead over those Dallas Mavericks. Who's walking away with the title, Lake?
I just want it to go 7, and right now it looks like it may not go that way. Dallas has to win Game 3, or it could get ugly. So, but I think Boston's going to win it. I'm going to say Boston in 6.
None of their title-winning years have gone to a Game 7, so I'm with that Game 6. All right, thanks so much, Lake Lewis Jr. joining us today on Toyota Sports Talk. Lake, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for giving us some time.
All right, I'll see you at camp.
Sounds good. All right, stay with us. Much more to come here on Toyota Sports Talk in just a